Hello, and welcome to the crossover, where nothing is out of bounds and everything is fair game. We have a lot to cover with you today, but first, let's check in with the Tunnel Crew. Please give a warm welcome to Stacks, Aggie P, Rooftop, TP, and Big T.
What's happening, everybody? And I'm your man, Big T. And once again, it's time for At Home with the Crossover. And joining me is the usual cast of characters talking about the First Lady, the Queen, the Doctor. Mama is in the house. TP, what's up?
Blessings, everyone. Blessings.
There we go. And then the man that brings the Ag swag to the show each and every week. We talking about none other than Aggie P. What's up, Aggie P?
Hey, man. Hello, everyone. Aggie Pride.
Yeah. Hey, it's nationwide, right?
That's right, sir. Yes, sir.
And then we got Bro Mel, our resident basketball expert, the legend, college basketball legend. Bro Mel, what's going on?
Hey, just glad to be in the house again. Praise the Lord.
There you go. I love that. And then we got the man that's keeping us straight, holding things down in the digital world, making sure the countdowns are good and the buffer music comes in when it's supposed to and all that stuff. We talking about Birdman. Bird, what's up?
Apologies to the viewers and listeners for last week's inflammatory comments.
Well, Bird, thank you. I'm pretty sure you all is forgiven, man. You know, we all about forgiveness and grace. And together, we are the Tunnel Crew, watching everything that happens inside and outside the tunnel, leading to the lines of competition in the world of sports. And we begin like we always do with our hot topics. The hottest stories in sports may not be what everybody else is talking about, but it's the things that we, the Tunnel Crew, want to talk about. And we're going to come out the gates tonight with NBA playoffs. Now, we'll go ahead and run through all the little information first, but there's something we really want to get to. This is kind of overshadowed all the results and the scores and all that stuff. So anyway, Celtics, they're up 3-1 after the big three put up 104 points out of 141 of the Celtics points. That ties an all-time record for three players on a single lineup. And we knew that the trio at some point was going to come through, mesh, join together, get things done. And so they got it done. Then you got Atlanta went up 3-1 with Trae Young averaging 25 points and 10 assists per game, which is tied with for fourth all-time in playoff history for a player making his first, couple of starts in the playoffs. And then the Clippers were down 2-0. Luka, man, was tearing them up. I mean, Luka was averaging about 38 points a game in the first two games, and they won both games on the road at the Clips. But then the Clips got that defense going, put the clamps on him. And then he had a little neck injury stuff and some nerve stuff. And boy, you know it, series is tied at 2-2, heading back to Clipperland. So we'll see how that one turns out. And then Ja Morant, and the Grizzlies, they fell down 3-1 despite Morant. Man, this dude is averaging around 34 points a game so far in the series. And so, I think this is his first playoff appearance. And man, I'm just amazed at all these young guys, man. First time getting the playoffs, averaging 25 points, 34 points, and all that stuff. 76ers up 3-1 on the Wizards. The Blazers and Nuggets are even at 2-2. And then, of course, the Suns were down 2-1 to the Lakers. And then AD messed up the groin. We always talk about the injuries. He messed up.
Get him, brother, man.
And Chris Paul scored 18 points and had a big game, and basically they got that thing knotted up at 2, and they're heading back to Phoenix to play Game 5 tonight. And I don't know about y'all, but you know what's going to happen tonight because AD's not playing. LeBron had already said what he's looking at. Expect him to try to score 80 tonight. I mean,
hey, I tell you, if he try to score 80, he's gonna get hurt tonight. So they can't afford to have two people hurt. So
right.
You know how that goes. You go a little bit too hard. Next thing you done caught a cramp. You done twist the ankle. So somebody else got to step up tonight.
Yeah, they do.
So Big T, they broke it that instead of questionable tonight, they just not gonna play him.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't expect him to play the next two games. 'cause groin,
Yeah.
you know, a groin ain't
Yeah.
nothing to play with. So
No.
Yeah, he need to sit
Growing
out.
is like that hamstring. That's two rough injuries, man.
that's right. Hey, a turf toe and all that,
Mm,
they just don't ever seem to go away.
yeah.
But now let's get to the real story. Let's get to what everybody really wants to talk about in the playoffs, because the fans that got crazy. I want to know what's gotten into the fans, because you had ejections in Philly, Boston, New York, Utah. I mean, and the fans just basically have been showing out this week. So you had, a fan in Philly dump popcorn on Russell Westbrook when he was leaving. I mean, he had to look through the little crack in the tarp thing where he could see him going through the tunnel, and then aimed it right at the right time and dumped popcorn on him. Then you had a Boston fan taken out in handcuffs after he threw a water bottle at Kyrie Irving. And I understand Kyrie had, made mention of racism going back to Boston, and then after the game was over, he stomped on the Celtics logo and everything. But come on, man, throwing a water bottle, man. He left in handcuffs, and they're talking about, possible felony charges for him. This dude could be facing 10 years. Then Ja Morant's family got into a verbal confrontation with fans in Utah. Racial slurs were thrown. 3 Utah fans were ejected from the game. And then in New York, a fan spat on Trae Young. I mean, you just see the spit flying over the audience sitting in front of him and hit Trae Young. And then last night, a Wizards fan ran on the court in the middle of free throws, and a security officer had to tackle him. What in the world? Is it cold? Is it because they hadn't been in the arena in so long? I mean, Tono Crew, tell me what's going on.
Hey, it's just about being on TV. They all want to be on TV. All I want to be on TV, man. It's just, but the 4 points you made, earlier, man, is that, that's uncalled for.
Yeah.
I know you pay your money. I know, you do all that, but like I said, they humans too, man, and they trying to pay their best,
Yep.
to give a good show, and you got individuals there for the wrong reason. I'm not sure if all of them was drinking, but I guarantee you a little bit of that had to do with it. So that played a role. People,
Yep.
A little different when it comes to alcohol and in sports.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
like I said, these fans, man, I think they just been out the arena too long. They
And I agree with you, Big T. I think that's one of the reasons. And like Brother Mel said, could be alcohol, could be
Yeah.
racism.
yeah.
But when I look at stuff like that, I've experienced that all the way back to high school.
Mm-hmm.
You have to escort us out of
Yeah.
a gym or off a football field
Yeah.
because of those type fans. And I always thought about it, Big T. And in my mind, the way I see it, I think it's that athlete
Yeah.
that didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
You want to take it out on the athlete. I mean, hey, that's just the way I think sometimes. Because I mean, why? I mean,
Yeah.
what's the purpose of throwing? I mean, I can understand you don't like our team
Yeah.
and whatnot, but you don't have to come and throw water on me
Yeah.
or something like that, And sometimes I just really think that might be the case, because I know one of the guys, he had on a Garnett
Yeah.
jersey and whatnot, and I said, I bet he's one of the guys that didn't quite get picked
Yeah.
or didn't quite make it. That's his frustration,
Yeah.
because he know he would be protected.
Yeah. Yeah.
He know once he do that, he might say something, but security or somebody's going to come and protect him. So I don't know what's going on with these fans, man. They need to calm down.
And I don't know if y'all saw the cuts when it happened to Westbrook, but they were showing like 4 or 5 incidents he done had with fans. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, they really giving him a hard time. And I'm telling you, that's one dude, they had to restrain him when the dude dumped popcorn. I'm telling you, if he could have got that dude, it would have been Malice in the Palace again.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a couple of them brothers you don't want to do like that now.
Had a lot of built up frustration.
Yeah, you could tell too. You could definitely tell he was ready. All right, well, hey y'all, first segment down. There's more to come, and we'll be back on At Home with the Crossover.
Why so sad when the joy is here? What's the answer? Joy in the morning, the crossover. You can find them all right here on 100.7 WLJF. There's no need to be down when there's plenty of joy to go around. Get your daily dose and turn that frown upside down. Love and Faith Radio, 100.7 WLJF, the joy.
My name is Priscilla Van. I'm with Hometown Insurance Service. I'm an independent insurance agent that specializes in Medicare, senior solutions, life, and health. I work with dozens of companies so that I can offer you the appropriate coverage as well as the affordable price for your insurance needs. If I can help you, please contact me at my website, hometowninsuranceservice.com, or email me at hometown.inservice, or you can find me on Facebook at Hometown Insurance Service. Thank you.
Times are changing. We all have questions about the future. Join us as we find the answers through the Word of God.
Love and Faith Christian Fellowship invites you to join our congregation. One church, 2 locations, Greensboro and Kernersville.
We're helping people on their path to find God as we provide spiritual leadership and growth through diverse ministry.
Celebrating over 25 years of ministry. Join our Love and Faith community where Jesus Christ is Lord and the people are loved.
All right, welcome back to At Home with the Crossover. Be sure to catch this live edition of the Crossover, At Home with the Crossover, every Tuesday night. And you can do that on YouTube by going to the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. Once you get there, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends about it. Check us out every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. live on YouTube. And then on Thursday nights at 7 p.m., catch the audio edition of the original Crossover Sports Show. And you can catch it online at WLJFradio.com. You can also download the WLJF app, and it's available both on Google Play and in the iTunes Store. So catch that one on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. and this one on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. All right, back to our hot topics. And just a quick mention, Hurricanes, they took down Nashville in a tough 6-game series. The first 2 games, they blew them out, and then the last 4 were all overtime games. They had a double overtime game. They had 2 double overtime games, and 2 single overtime games. Finally got rid of them, and then went into the next series against the champs, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and lost game 1, 2-1. So they're playing a big one tonight. They lose. They going back to Tampa Bay down 0-2. I don't see it happening if they lose tonight. So go Canes. All right, and then hey, Larry on edge tonight, you know.
Hey, right.
And then, according to an ESPN report, there's a new proposed bill that would allow college athletes to form unions. And according to the bill, the athletes would be considered employees. And the NCAA, of course, is totally opposed to this. So I just want to throw this out there. What does the Tunnel Crew think about this? I mean, you think unions are a good thing for college players?
I don't think it's a good thing. It's just it's just changing, man. It's just the way things are done. It's being done is changing, and everybody want to. I shouldn't say a say so, but everybody want to have their own way of doing things, and it just it makes me start to look at collegiate sports and things like that in a totally different way.
Mm-hmm.
So forming a union, Big T, would this allow the players to get paid?
See, there's so many things that you have to unpack with that. And I mean, especially the fact that they're saying they're going to consider the players employees. So you say, well, how can you consider them employees unless there's some compensation?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot to it, y'all. TP, you get ready to say something.
Yes, I was going to say, this kind of goes all the way back when Rooftop was letting us know, things that was going on with the NCAA and, how they were going to consider paying the players to play. Mm-hmm. So if you're paying them, technically they are employees.
That's right.
And here's another thing. If I'm paying you to play, do you need a scholarship? Mm-hmm. this thing gets pretty deep.
Right.
So you need a scholarship because now you are afforded the opportunity because I'm paying you versus you have other people that's at school that can't play to that level. So
Right.
they may need the scholarship.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it just brings this. I'm like, bro, man, just bringing on a whole bunch of different things. I mean, just, and I know people may not like this, but I just say leave it because you don't see Jordan and them complaining from their day to say, you know, they say, well, look, we didn't have these things.
Yeah.
But the whole point of the game is to step up, not to flop, but to step up, you know, to be able to say your game is at this level that you're ready for the NBA.
And I think, go ahead, TP. And I just think what has occurred too, once you start having these one and dones and, you know, they want to just go and then hit the NBA, and NBA has something to do with this too. Don't get it twisted. They have something to do with this NCAA too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if they didn't mandate that kids can go whenever they wanted to, then you wouldn't have a lot of this, you know. And when you start saying you're going to pay athletes and things like that, you're just getting into a totally different, you know, where's the fun of the game and you know, playing and having a good time and making it to the big dance, you know? Because if you look at it now, you go back, and I was on YouTube the other day and looking at some of the former athletes that played some high profile names, guys that was good in college, and now they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be found. And I'm like, man, you know, it's
Well, that's just kind of how the whole, you know, and all of the sports have really changed.
Yep.
You know, everybody now just for self.
Yep.
Right.
Mainly, because I mean, I've experienced this with, you know, my son and, you know, and other guys, and like I explained on here before, you know, going to these all-star games and everything. Man, I mean, it's just taking the fun out of football.
Yep.
You know, everybody's for self. Self. So basically what they're probably looking at, that's just my opinion, all the money that they're making on the college level, and they feel that the athletes need to get paid for some of that money. The coaches get paid well, you know, and everybody else get, you know, money get distributed well. So why not the athlete receive some of that money?
Well, and you know what? I just, you know, when I start to hear the money being the reason behind stuff so much, I always go back to the scripture, okay? And we know God is not against people having money. He said he is the one that gives you the ability to get wealth, you know? He is not against you having, but when the money becomes God, you know, we know, because we know the scriptures say the love of money is the root of all evil. And so I always, like you said, when you start to hear money come up so much, you just say, okay, man, something's off here, because your focus shouldn't be on money so much, you know. A lot of these big conference decisions are based on how much money can we make. You don't care about players' health. You don't care about, you know, whether it's taking them away from classes and everything. It's, hey, we can make a lot of money if we do this. And so I just always a little worried about that.
Yeah, and I'm the same way, because you look at, okay, they're getting, most of them getting full scholarships. So you add that into how much that's going to cost, you know, how much that's going to cost. And most major, big time schools, that's going to be over $100,000, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, you wouldn't be able to play if you didn't have a scholarship.
Yeah.
So if they're going to start paying money, okay, how are you going to get in?
Yeah.
How you going? It's a lot of dynamics to the whole thing, but you're right. The love of money is the root of all evil, and you're taking the fun out of it. You know, the money always going to be there when it comes to professional. It's always going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why you have a lot of kids, education ain't playing a part, and we're going to have a lot of kids out here in the world that don't know a lot of things because they got one mindset, I want to make it to the big dance, but don't have no knowledge of finances, no knowledge of how to, you know, keep the money and who to hang with. Like, you know, Aggie P was sharing with his, you know, with his kids about sports, you know. And that's why I share with people too. I say, look, you know, if you put God with you, man, he can take you anywhere you want to go.
Exactly right.
You put your hands in God and really serve him, he'll take you anywhere you want to go.
Hey,
know.
if you ever see, if anybody's ever seen that documentary on ESPN called Broke, you know, and I mean, you know, I remember growing up and watching Bernie Kosar play. Bernie Kosar was Cleveland football, and he's on there talking about he went broke, you know, and I'm just like, no, not Bernie, you know. I mean, Bernie was Cleveland football back in the 90s, you know. But I mean, that's like you said, you know, when you make it about the money and you don't realize that at some point that money is going to stop, you know, and you're not prepared to deal with when it stops, and you have overextended yourself, then you broke, you know, like that documentary said. So, hey, moving on real quick. What'd you say, TV? I'm sorry.
That happens a lot. That happens a lot. And when I worked for the NBA, that was one of the reasons why they teamed with Smith Barney. They wanted to make sure that these players were financially set for their retirement.
You know, one of the saddest stories I saw was a Cowboys player that played on the 90s teams that won 3 championships, and he was living in a storage shed behind his mama's house with an extension cord going out to her house, going from her house out to the storage shed so he could run a heater, you know. And he had sold his 3 championship rings on eBay, you know. I mean, that's pretty. He was riding a bicycle to get around town, you know. That was, I can't remember what player it was, but it was sad to hear, man. It's really sad. All right, HBCU Combine is in the news because, you know, they talked about this before the pandemic, and then the pandemic threw everything off. Well, of course, we didn't have any HBCU players drafted in this year's draft. And Deion Sanders said that's a slap to the face, and he said that should never happen. Well, the NFL and the Senior Bowl have announced that they're teaming up to host the HBCU Combine in 2022, and basically, you know, it could be looked at as a response to no players being drafted. Anybody got any issues with it or applaud the NFL? Go ahead, TV.
I was waiting on Aggie P first, so and I was gonna comment. Go ahead, Aggie P.
All Aggie P got to say is, hey, I'm glad. Yeah. You know, it's some guys that can ball at these HBCUs, you know, just as well as the other conferences.
Yeah.
And we started to see it, but we just didn't see it this past draft.
Yeah.
So hey, hats off. I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
Well, what I was gonna say is, I am happy, but I will be happier if once it's over, I could see who actually went.
Yeah.
Because, and this is just me, I was all hyped for it and it didn't happen. But I had to take a step back and say, you know what? I just want to make sure this is not a publicity stunt. I thought about Colin Kaepernick. We all got a bit excited, and I said, wait a minute. Is this a publicity stunt to say, hey, we try to give him a chance? I need some hardcore evidence.
Yeah. So, well, I did watch an interview with Deion. It was on YouTube, and he said it was about an 8-minute interview, and he talked about how the one problem he had with it is they're only inviting like 22. I think this is based on what Deion said. I think he said like 22 guys, and he said no. He said the guys need to be at the real combine, and he said it needs to be open to anybody that wants to come, you know, to come out there and be able to show what they got. He said, you know, don't just have an exclusive combine for 22 guys and that's it, you know. And so there was that aspect to it, because I didn't know they were setting limits on, you know. I mean, I know you can't have everybody show up, but you know,
right.
But it seemed like you do more than 22 guys doing, you know, a separate combine. So
why can't they just have like maybe the top 5 from every HBCU? It's not any PWI.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they say we see potential talent for more than the 5.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this because I'm an alumnus, but you know, we got a lot of talent at A&T. Exactly. But I'm saying,
that's right.
You know, Aggie Pride.
And you're right, you know, you have that, but then you have to start looking at okay, what are the smaller conferences too? You know, you got to try to be fair across the board, you know, and make it for everybody. And it's a lot of, like I say, HBCU guys out there that should be in the NFL. Also, you got some in the mid-major conference that should be in the NFL, and they're not getting the opportunity as well, you know. And, you know, it's like the point is, like you said, TP, don't try to do something just to satisfy us.
Yeah.
You know, to say we did this, you know, for the HBCU. No, you know, we want to be on the same playing field as well.
Yes.
You know, because with us, competition is competition. You going to run a 4-3, I'm going to show you I can run a 4-2.
Right.
You know?
That's what I'm talking about.
And that is a low number, 22. That's one for each position.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I mean, that just does something is
that kind
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, that kind of takes it back to what TP was saying. Is this a publicity stunt? You know what I mean?
Right, just to shut us up.
You know, is it trying to basically say, okay, look, we trying to, you know, make things right here because nobody got drafted and, you know, this, that, and the other. But you know, I mean, hopefully sometimes things shine the light on something and then it gives the press a chance to say, oh, hold on, wait a minute. Why they only do 22? And then really start to write about it and get on them. And then maybe next year it'll lead to, you know, a bigger a group of guys being invited out. So we'll see how it turns out. But, you know,
I'm ready to march.
What's that?
I'm ready to march, Big T, if it don't go right. We marching, TP.
Right. Hey, with our Aggie colors on.
That's great.
That brings me to this point real quick.
Uh-huh.
So we have an A&T hater on our YouTube, and it is Radar. Radar is hating us. And he says, leave it to Prime to keep it real. Aggie P, what's up? He says, A&T has a little bit of talent. So, you know, what I always would tell Radar is, you always say that we have a little bit of talent, but yet you helping to pay that tuition money for your son who's at A&T and who's at A&T. Therefore, we got a lot of talent.
Did Radar know that the relay team just finished first in the country? It's for the second time.
Yeah.
Country record.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not talking in HBCUs. I'm talking about, hey, bring Clemson on, bring on LSU. I mean, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Bye, Radar.
He said, yes, I did.
Hey, we know Radar gonna always stir up.
Exactly.
My
dude.
And thank you to all of the rest of our listeners too on YouTube. And we want to also thank everybody also that has joined us here on the crossover on the radio as well. So we just thank everybody for their support.
Yes, thank you, TP. Appreciate that. All right, so we got a little French Open news to talk about because man, the French Open got off to a, you know, I guess you could say a quiet start, but it definitely has gotten loud over the last day or so. But Serena, she opened up with an easy victory in advance. So congratulations to her. She's still trying to catch that record and for the all-time majors. And hey, this might be it, you know. And so, and now, especially with the news that came down yesterday with Miss Naomi Osaka withdrawing because, you know, Naomi is at the top of her game right now. And she said last week, you know, no to post-match press conferences. And we're going to get more into that on the other side of the break. But be sure to catch this live at home edition of the crossover every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And you can do that by watching the Tunnel Crew on YouTube at the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. And that's every Tuesday night live at 7 p.m. on YouTube. And then on Thursday nights at 7 p.m., catch the original audio edition of the show. And you can do that online at WLJF Radio. You can also catch that version of the show on the Love and Faith 100.7 WLJF app, which is available both in Google Play and on the iTunes Store. When we come back, we're going to talk about Naomi, the French Open, and our question of the day.
Why so sad when the joy is here? What's the answer? Joy in the morning, the crossover. You can find them all right here on 100.7 WLJF. There's no need to be down when there's plenty of joy to go around. Get your daily dose and turn that frown upside down. Love and Faith Radio, 100.7 WLJF, The Joy.
My name is Priscilla Van. I'm with Hometown Insurance Service. I'm an independent insurance agent that specializes in Medicare, senior solutions, life, and health. I work with dozens of companies so that I can offer you the appropriate coverage as well as the affordable price for your insurance needs. If I can help you, please contact me at my website, hometowninsuranceservice.com, or email me at hometown.inservice, or you can find me on Facebook at Hometown Insurance Service. Thank you.
Times are changing. We all have questions about the future. Join us as we find the answers through the Word of God.
Love and Faith Christian Fellowship invites you to join our congregation. One church, 2 locations, Greensboro and Kernersville.
We're helping people on their path to find God as we provide spiritual leadership and growth through diverse ministry.
Celebrating over 25 years of ministry. Join our Love and Faith community where Jesus Christ is Lord and the people are loved.
100.7 WLJF.
All right, welcome back to At Home with the Crossover. Be sure to catch this live At Home edition every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. Catch all the members of the Tunnel Crew on the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. Once you get there, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends about it. Tune in every week. And then on Thursday nights, catch the audio version of the original Crossover Sports Show Thursday nights at 7 p.m. And you can do that on WLJFradio.com. You can also download the 100.7 WLJF app, which is available both on Google Play and in the iTunes Store. And that's Thursday nights at 7 p.m. So catch both versions every week. And now, TP, you have any more social media posts that we need to be alerted to?
No, we just have a lot of people kind of viewing us, and just wanted to say that we appreciate everybody. Radar is the one that's talking the most junk. So, of course, everybody will love the conversation because everybody knows that Radar is like my brother. So we have a brother-sister relationship, and I know everybody looks forward to us having our brother-sister fuss as usual.
That's right.
Everybody always gives us high fives because they love it. So just want you to know, now it's on YouTube. So
that Radar.
Yes.
Like you say, stir in the pot.
The one and only.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, back to we started talking about the French Open and Naomi Osaka right before the break, and she was the number 2 seed coming into the tournament, and she basically announced before the tournament started that she would not be attending any post-match press conferences, and she said that she would pay the mandatory fines for skipping the press conferences, and then she cited that her mental health was her reasoning. Said that a lot of reporters like to ask some questions designed to shake your confidence or to get into your head and have players doubting themselves. And she said, I'm not going to subject myself to people who doubt me. And of course, there wasn't a whole lot of overwhelming support from the media. A lot of media were like, suck it up. This is a part of what you do. We're there to help you get your narrative out and this, that, and the other. Let me go into a little bit of what's going on here. She struggles on clay. And because I was thinking, I kept wondering, I said, well, why is she just saying this for the French Open? It seems to me like, you would say this for all the tournaments or whatever. But it was the reason she was specifically singling out the French Open was because it's on clay, and her struggles on clay have been well documented by the press. And I guess they usually badger her because she talked about, you get tired of getting the same questions and this, that, and the other. So she won her first match, and she eventually withdrew because, and this sounds like bullying to me, but because the French Open, but not only the French Open, all 4 of the majors basically put out a joint statement saying, if you will not go to attend press conferences and things like that, then, we'll fine you. we won't even invite you to the tournament and this, that, and the other. And nobody took into consideration what she was saying, mental health, you know? And so that caused her to just eventually say, well, you know, forget it. I'm just going to withdraw. And so she withdrew on Monday, saying that her decision was best for the event, for other players, and for her well-being. So, you know, and I want to say I'm proud of people like Coco Gauff that came out in support of her, saying, you know, she admired her and admired her vulnerability and told her to stay strong. Martina Navratilova said, you know, as athletes, we're always told, be about our bodies, condition our bodies, be strong physically. She said, maybe it's time that we start considering the mental part of the situation, you know? And I heard some press reporter today saying she just needs to, you know, deal with it, you know? So it's a very insensitive way a lot of people are dealing with her doing this. And so the question of the day is this, you know, in light of her situation and everything that's going on with her, you know, how does mental health impact today's athletes? And I'm going to throw that out there to the Tunnel Crew because it's a serious topic. Y'all remember a while back, a couple of years ago, when we talked about Kevin Love and how he said he used to sit in the dark, you know, dealing with feelings of depression and all that stuff. And he shed a light on how athletes are dealing with this stuff. So, I mean, once again, here we go again. And you got tournaments bullying, you know, basically saying, if you won't do this, then, you know, you'll be fined and you won't be invited. Come on now, you know. So Tunnel Crew, have at it.
It's the media's fault. And I commend the people who are sticking up for Naomi, and I commend Naomi for doing it, withdrawing from the tournament. But to those stupid, ignorant reporters, I cannot understand for the life of me why, because it's easy for you to talk sitting behind a computer, typing stuff on ESPN and going on TV and talking about it, because you never lived through it. Me personally, I deal with anxiety, and I went through a depression state in my life in high school. So I know exactly, you know, not from an athlete standpoint, but I know exactly where she's coming from as far as anxiety wise. So I commend her and the people that are supporting her for this decision.
Yeah.
So it does take a toll on a lot of athletes as well because of the media.
Yeah. Yes, and I agree, Barry, man. The media can bring you up and the media can bring you down. And you have to have a stable mind to know who you are and what you are, because the media, they're there to sell. That's what they're there to do, to sell. A lot of them don't play. A lot of them never played. So, you know, you wouldn't know, you know. My Peace Haven was on the court. You know, I can play in front of 10,000 people and be fine, you know, but you do have players that can't play in front of 10,000 people and get on the free throw line and shoot an air ball with 5 seconds left in the game, you know, and that happens, but it's all about confidence, you know. But when you got mental health and you got those issues that's coming up, then you got to take them seriously. You're not in that person's mind. You're not in that person's body. And so you have to respect what they're saying, regardless of how you feel about it or not feel about it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's real, you know.
Right. And Big T, I just want to go even a little bit deeper than the media. You know, I've talked about it before, and you know, it's for first of all, mental health is real. Yeah. And I'm glad that she's letting us know that, you know, she, you know, struggling with depression, and she's putting it forth. But when I think about it, once again, Big T, I think it goes to the pressure that the parents put on these young kids. I mean, I can remember growing up, it was no pressure, you know, it was fun. Yeah. I mean, God just blessed me to be, you know, talented in that area. I just went out and did that. But now these parents, man, I'm telling you, I've seen it. Brother Mel, you can attest to this, man. I mean, they are, if these kids in a camp make a wrong turn, they all in the kid's face. Why did you do that? You're gonna blow the chance. You ain't gonna be working. I'm sitting there like, blow the chance. Hey, Big T, I'm telling you,
right.
man. And for a young person, and I, you know, I'm hard on myself, but a lot of times I have to step back and let him still be a kid and enjoy what he does.
Yeah.
Right. But some parents put so much pressure on a young person to succeed in these sports. And I can see why it can bring on, you know, depression and mental health, because you be so hard on yourself when you make a mistake and you know that your parents is not supporting you because you make, that's the way you feel and you see it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think over a period of time, you know, all of that stuff builds up. And then you elevate it to this top athlete. And like you said, she doesn't play well on clay. She's probably going through all kind of anxieties walking out on that clay field. Okay, can I manage this clay? Can I win? And just putting too much pressure on herself, and it can be hard to cope with. And a lot of people don't see that bigger picture.
That's right.
You know, the pressure that athletes have on them, especially from young age and moving up to becoming a professional in what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're right.
It's a lot of pressure, even on the college level. You know, some coaches can put pressure on you. We'll take your scholarship if you don't. You're like, oh, I don't want to go home. You know, and it's just a lot of pressure that you know, is put on athletes, you know, to go out and perform and to do all they're supposed to. When you got somebody right across from you, just as good.
Yeah. That's right.
You know, and that's when it goes back to the, you know, like you talking about the mental game and having the mental focus. Once you pass the high school level, and you start going up, it's 90% mental.
That's right.
Because the guy in front of you, if you was all state, he was all state.
He was all state.
Yeah, you run a 4.6, he can run a 4.6.
Yeah.
It's not like in high school. You run a 4.6, the guy across from you might can't even run a 5.3. You know you're gonna beat him. But once you get to that college level and start going up, man, it's so much pressure.
And you're right.
Like I say, I think that the parents have a big, you know, influence in that.
And
that's just my opinion.
And I'm glad you brought that up too, because it's more prevalent now than it ever been before. And I have seen that where kids get to college, they end up quitting. You know, their parents done grind them all the way up, and they make it, and they get to college and say, man, I don't want to play no more basketball or football. You know, and because it's about the parents and it's not about the child. Like you said, we played it because we enjoyed it. We had a good time. We played. We loved it. We didn't have to go through a lot of that. But nowadays, I see kids now, man, 8, 9 years old, and the parents is going off the change in the game, and I'm like, come on, man, you know. But you know, with the tennis player, you know, you have to feel for her, man. But you know what? I thank God that she did. She brought it to the light. You know, he brought it to the light to be able to share, you know, that other people may come out and share what they're experiencing as well. And that's what you want, because it's going to be a trickle down effect, because these kids, like Agape was saying, when you grind these kids, you know, a lot of kids are not as tough as they was when we grew up nowadays.
Right.
You know, and whereas, you know, back then, you know, our parents didn't really have that much time opportunity to spend with us to do it. But nowadays, a lot of, you know, former athletes or whatever, man, they taking their kids, 8, 9 year olds, and they working them like they in college already, you know.
Hey, Brother Bromell, to quote the late Kobe Bryant, man, you softer than Charmin.
Hey.
I just want y'all to know too, one of the people from our YouTube page was saying, you know, the parents are off the hook. They're acting like ESPN is their recording every moment.
That's
and
right.
you know, the parents can be a lot. But I wanted to make some points myself. I have a couple of notes since y'all was talking, because I really wanted to say a lot, but of course, you know, we only have
we don't have that much time.
So the first one I wanted to make was, when you think of the bigger picture about this topic right now, one of the things that came to mind, because Birdman helped me to think of it when he said, not necessarily from an athlete's point of view and what he went through. You know, one of the big artists that people do know of, is Michelle from Destiny's Child.
Mm-hmm.
She just came out with a big thing that was talking about how she suffered from depression the whole time, not only from Destiny's Child, but before. So that's proof that money has nothing to do with it.
None.
I thought about Marshawn Lynch when he said, I don't want to be fined.
Yeah.
As far as why he came there. And that brought me to a good point from when I was working for the NBA, which is in community relations.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we talked about this a long time ago. When you don't have an appearance, you are fined.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, I told y'all that. Allen Iverson, he kept talking about practice.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be there. You know, we found out that one of his friends was killed. And then he came and told me, we're talking about practice. His whole point was there's other things to think about. You don't know what I had to do with here.
Yeah.
And so I say all that because what she went through, I more than commend. Because another tennis star, Jennifer Capriati, she was one of my favorite athletes in tennis.
14 years old.
Yes. And she ended up having to stop. She ended up going to drugs. She ended up going to other stuff. And think about it. She couldn't take a mental health day.
Yeah.
She couldn't take a mental health. So I do commend her for making this step. The media is raw. They want to make a story, just like everybody's saying. They want to make a story that is there, that is rough.
Yep.
And I just commend her for doing this. And I believe she's going to get more endorsements for doing so if you have people that are true to the heart and not trying to go for the almighty dollar.
Right.
Well, and as the question of the day says, you know, how does it impact, you know, the athletes? How does mental health impact them? You know, like in her situation, like you talked about, the struggles on clay, you know that going in. So you create this world of panic, anxiety, stress, pressure. You're thinking about, okay, they're going to be coming at me because, you know, I don't do well on this. So it's like, it's almost like you torturing yourself just for your job, you know? And so, you know, that's definitely going to impact how you play on the court or the field or whatever. It's going to impact you. And we saw Ricky Williams back in the day doing interviews with his helmet on because he had social anxiety disorder, and people would tease him, why are you wearing your helmet, you know, after practice, and they got the microphones in his face. And he said, you know, this makes me feel comfortable, you know, this, you know, I mean, this stuff is real, you know.
Very real, Big T.
Yeah, it is.
And the media's got to stop treating it like, oh, I think we talk about this all the time on the show too, the old school mentality. You know, it's time for the old school mentality. We can still bring some of the old school stuff with us, but some of that stuff got to die, you know, because it's not good. It's not healthy. All right, everybody, be sure to catch this live at-home edition of The Crossover every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And you can watch every member of the Tunnel Crew on YouTube, on our Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel, Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Once you get there, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the show. And then catch us on our original day and time for the audio version on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. And you can do that on WLJFradio.com, or you can download the WLJF app, which is available both on Google Play and in the iTunes Store. All right, when we come back, it's time for the wrap-up.
Why so sad when the joy is here? What's the answer? Joy in the morning, the crossover. You can find them all right here on 100.7 WLJF. There's no need to be down when there's plenty of joy to go around. Get your daily dose and turn that frown upside down. Love and Faith Radio, 100.7 WLJF, the joy.
My name is Priscilla Van. I'm with Hometown Insurance Service. I'm an independent insurance agent that specializes in Medicare, senior solutions, life, and health. I work with dozens of companies so that I can offer you the appropriate coverage as well as the affordable price for your insurance needs. If I can help you, please contact me at my website, hometowninsuranceservice.com, or email me at hometown.inservice, or you can find me on Facebook at Hometown Insurance Service. Thank you.
Times are changing. We all have questions about the future. Join us as we find the answers through the Word of God.
Love and Faith Christian Fellowship invites you to join our congregation. One church, 2 locations, Greensboro and Kernersville.
We're helping people on their path to find God as we provide spiritual leadership and growth through diverse ministry.
Celebrating over 25 years of ministry. Join our Love and Faith community where Jesus Christ is Lord and the people are loved.
It's time now for the crossover wrap-up report. Let's send it back to the Tunnel Crew.
All right, welcome back to At Home with the Crossover, and just to piggyback on one last thing with Naomi Osaka, you know, a lot of media is saying, hey, she needs us because we help her get her message out. We help her spread her voice and this, that, and the other. And basically, a lot of the athletes are saying, no, we got social media now. We can communicate with our own fans. We can control the narrative. And then that's not to say they don't need the media, but the media needs to stop thinking that it's, 1985. It's a new generation, and they can cut out the middleman and talk to their fans and stuff like that. That's why they have all these followers and things like that. So just wanted to add that on. All right, time for the standings for the week. And last week, Aggie P, Birdman, Orangeman, Radar, and Stats all went 3-2, and they led the week. But you know what? Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 3-1 at one point.
But me and Bromel and TP, we didn't do too bad. We only one game behind y'all. We finished 2-3, so we did all right. We'll take it. So the overall standings look like this. I got 85 wins. Birdman has 76. Radar 75. Stats 71. Aggie P 70. TP 63. Bromel 55. And Orangeman 14. All right. Let's get to this week's picks, this week's games. We got NBA playoffs, and you got 2 series that are going to wrap up this weekend. They're both 2-2. Lakers versus Suns, Mavs versus Clips. The Tunnel Crew had to pick the winner of both of those series. And then the NHL, we talked about it early on in the show. The Canes are playing the Lightning tonight here at Carolina, but they've got 3 games this week between tonight and Saturday. Tunnel Crew had to pick Canes sweep, Canes 2-1, or Canes 0-3, getting beat down. And then Major League Baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays are at the New York Yankees for a 4-game series, which started yesterday. And we're just picking the next 3 games tonight through Thursday. And you had to pick the winner, and it either had to be by a sweep or 2-1. So let's go ahead. I'm going to read off the guys who are not here first, and we'll go with Orangeman. He took the Lakers to win the series, the Clippers to win the series, the Canes 2-1, and the Yankees 2-1. And then and I think that's it. That's it, because I didn't get stats. So sorry, stats. All right, let's go.
I'm about to pass your stats.
Let's go with Bromel.
Yeah, I went ahead and went with the Suns, the Clippers, the Canes, and then the Yankees 2-1.
Okay. All right. Birdman.
I went Lakers, Mavs, Canes 2-1, and Yankees 2-1. My Yankees.
Yeah, your Yankees.
Yeah.
All right, then TP.
I went with the Suns, Mavs, Canes 2-1, and the Rays 2-1.
Yep, that's right. That's what I got. And then Aggie P.
Yes, sir. I went with the Suns, Clippers. Sorry, Larry. Lightning 2-1 and the Rays 2-1.
He went Lightning 2-1. Oh.
I mean, I saw an interview. They was talking about that goalie, Big T.
Yeah.
Lightning. They said that guy is nice.
Well, see, and that's the thing. In hockey, in the playoffs, the team with the hot goalie wins.
Right.
Right.
It happens all the time. So, yeah, go with the hot goalie. All right, and then I did forget Radar sent his picks in. He took or did I read his? No, I didn't read his. He said Suns, Mavs, Lightning 2-1, and Rays 2-1. And then mines, I took the Suns, the Clippers, Canes 2-1, and Rays 2-1. All right, time for our shout outs or shut up and play candidates, and we'll start with Aggie P.
Shout out to Mac McCain. I just read a quick article, a little signing bonus and a little salary there with the Denver Broncos. I think it's the practice squad, but anyway,
hey,
shout out to Mac McCain.
That's a name we heard a lot at A&T when he was there,
yes,
too.
Sir.
All right, Bromel.
Well, just man, but my Yankees, man, I this past weekend, man, we didn't play no ball this weekend.
I was gonna say y'all went 0-4, didn't you?
Yeah, we didn't play no ball this weekend, man. We got to shut up and play, man. We just got to shut up and play, man.
You hardly ever hear anybody come after their own squad.
Yeah, man. We can't digress, man.
All right, TP.
I want to give a I just want to say A&T Track and Field.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah.
Set country records. And I'm gonna do a shut up to play to Radar. Because he needs it. So shut up and put up and stop downing us, downing me over here on YouTube. So y'all have got to join us. He said go Bromel. So
go Bromel. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
All right, Birdman.
All right, my shut up and play goes to my Lakers now. Put everything on LeBron tonight. Yeah, y'all don't do this to me. Don't do it. I paid a lot of money. Coach Pfeiffer is invested in you tonight.
Hey, LeBron gonna try to score 80. He gonna blow his hamstring or something.
Yeah.
Radar said boo Lakers.
Hey, mine goes out to Naomi Osaka for putting her money where her mouth is, because a lot of times these athletes say, you know, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and then when they hit them in the pocketbook, they backtrack. Nah, she said, okay, y'all gonna find me, and I told you it's my minute. I'm out of here. I'm just gonna withdraw, and I'm moving on. So she really did put her money where her mouth was. She said, like we talked about earlier in the show, money, you know, and the love of money. She said, I don't love money that much. I'm more concerned with my mental health than I am the money. So
good for her.
Shout out to her. Yeah. Shout out to her.
Amen.
That just about does it for this edition of At Home with the Crossover for the Queen.
Blessings.
For Aggie P.
No weapon.
For Bromel.
Praise the Lord.
For Birdman. I'm your man, Big T, signing off and saying, no matter where you are, look up and know that your creator is there. Until next time, see you, and we might want to be you.
Oh, man.
That's all we have for you today. So be sure to join us next week for the crossover. And remember, the Tunnel Crew don't play unless we have something to say.